At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
You're listening to the Animation Addicts podcast with the Rotoscopers, episode 141, Aladdin and the King of Thieves. They're finally getting married. Welcome to the Animation Addicts podcast with the Rotoscopers, Disney, DreamWorks, Pixar, Don Bluth, and everything in between. I'm your host, Morgan Stradling, and I'm here with my amazing co-host, Chelsea Robson.
Hey!
And we are here in person, in studio, actually on a couch, a comfy couch.
A nerdy couch.
A nerdy couch for our couch chats. So this may be the new way that we're recording the podcast for a while. Mason's not going to be on the show while he finishes the duration of grad school and everything. And so it's just easier for us to get together in a room on a comfy couch, nerdy couch, and just record, which actually I like because there's no internet involved, there's no Google Hangout, there's no technical difficulties. Well, not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
The recorder could still mess up, so be good. But yeah. So for those of you who are new to our show, this is the Animation Addicts podcast. We are a podcast for all things animated movies, past and present. And we just have a really, really good time. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We're just a group of friends getting together, talking about animated films. Sometimes we get serious. Sometimes we get goofy. Actually, a lot of times we get a lot goofy.
Yeah, very much so.
And this time we are going to be reviewing a fabulous, fantastic movie.
Oh my gosh.
A very nostalgic movie. Incredibly quotable. Aladdin and the King of Thieves.
There's a party here in Agrabah. There's excitement in the air. People pouring in from near and far. 'Cause Jasmine and Aladdin are gonna have a wedding. There's a party here in Agrabah. Everybody will be there. So if you're a pauper or a shawl, do something with your hair.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh my gosh.
And I think one of the things that most frequently comes up, even as we were tweeting about this movie, people mention this, and Mason mentioned this in the past episode and in previous episodes, he's mentioned it quite a bit, is the VHS trailer for this movie.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Epic. Okay, if you were a 90s kid, I'm sure I said this on the last episode, but I'm going to reiterate it again. If you were a 90s kid, part of just, your induction into being a kid was watching the previews on the VHS. Yeah, you could skip through them. A lot of times you didn't, right?
Well, yeah, no, because this was pre-internet.
Yes.
So this was the way that you found out about what was coming out.
Yeah, now new movie trailers come out and we are sitting there at the YouTube and
We're at the YouTube.
How old am I?
We're at the YouTube.
And we push play and we watch it and everyone geeks out about it. But back in the 90s, that's really how you did it. So every new release that you got, you didn't skip for the first little bit. So, and this one, for some reason or another, just has this iconic status as far as movie trailers. I don't know if it's just because it's so over the top. It just has lots of quotes, but I think we're going to insert it here.
Yeah.
Let's see. This is going to be fun. Let me just read all the things that come up on YouTube when you type in Aladdin and the King of Thieves VHS. Other suggestions are VHS trailer, VHS UK, 1996 VHS trailer capture, and basically all different variations of that. So this is very popular.
Everybody loves this VHS trailer.
All right, so here it is, the Aladdin and King of Thieves 1996 trailer from VHS capture. It is, there's a trailer 1 and trailer 2, but I think we go with trailer 1.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Upgrade your business with Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning fewer carts going abandoned and more sales going cha-ching. So if you're into growing your business, get a commerce platform that's ready to sell wherever your customers are. Visit Shopify.com to upgrade your selling today.
Aladdin showed you a whole new world. The Return of Jafar took you beyond imagination. Now, Walt Disney Home Video invites you to a celebration.
Oh, yeah!
With an all-new
fancy
the third and final chapter of the exciting trilogy.
The exciting trilogy.
Aladdin and the King of Thieves. Aladdin and Jasmine's dreams are finally coming true.
This is a happy day.
But a band of notorious thieves
Open sesame!
and a long-kept secret
My father is
He's alive?
lead
Yes, that
Aladdin
part.
into his greatest
Oh yeah, and
adventure
sliding down the thing with the knife.
Follow the trail of the 40 thieves. Your father is trapped within their world.
That would be a
Problem.
Even on the scam, out on the lamb, taking whatever we please. Got lots of grub to share.
You'll have an easy chair.
Welcome to the 40 Thieves.
Aladdin and the King of Thieves features 5 brand new songs.
5
and
brand new
reunites
songs?
all your favorite characters from Aladdin,
I'm back.
including the genie, brought to life again by the one and only Robin Williams.
It's a kinder,
Look, gentler, Genie. Look at this.
This summer, live the adventure
You don't stand a chance against the King of Thieves.
and take part in the wedding of the century.
Wow.
finally getting married.
Finally getting married.
Finally getting married.
Aladdin and the King of Thieves. Coming directly to video, summer '96.
Okay, going into this, those few moments when they're just like, yeah, my father is alive. I just remember being like 9, 10 years old and just being like, oh my gosh, his dad's alive. So many twists and turns with this plot.
Hey, when you're an orphan, your parents are dead in the first movie. It leaves a lot open, and they didn't explain it in the first movie what happened to them. It leaves a lot open for the third movie, of
Yes.
course. So, good times down memory lane.
Well, what the thing is, like, it had just come out, not just, but it had come out after, obviously, Return of Jafar, which was that movie that, I mean, I'll be honest, we never owned in my house.
I did.
We did not own that movie, and I always, I watched it one time at a friend's house, and I remember just being so disappointed, like, really? You got my hopes up for this? And then when this came out and they're like, oh, Robin Williams, I'm like, okay, I'm in. I'm in. So I just remember also going back to episode 7 of the podcast where we talk about sequels. Are they canon? It's a great episode. You should totally look into it. But we talked about this. And it's like we also came up with the idea that, you know, Return of Jafar was actually just a dream.
Of course. That's the best way to get around that.
Yes. I mean, the only thing that takes away from that is the fact that Iago is actually part of their group now.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was like, no, it just goes straight into this.
Yeah, and this one, you know, it's interesting because in the end of the first movie, you kind of have the assumption that they're married.
Right.
Because they're in wedding-esque clothes, which are like white, and those typically symbolize wedding. And so you think, oh, wow, they got married, and off into the moon they go. But no, they definitely said, nope, why? How can we pass up an Aladdin wedding?
Right, how can we? No.
We need this.
This is great source material.
Yeah, exactly. So,
well, actually, what was funny is Gary Wright. After we did that conversation, he sent us an email or something saying, "Actually, I always assumed it was their somebody gets engaged, it's their engagement party photo." And I was like, "Makes sense. I like it. Thanks, Gary." Because he's from the middle. Well, he's
from India.
He's from India, and so he's like, "That's why I always thought it was." I'm like, "I like it.
I like it a lot." All right, so before we dive too much into this, let's go back and talk about some history.
Okay.
So this was done by Disney Toon Studios, and the first real big one that they had done was obviously the first sequel, Return of Jafar, which did very, very well. And
Extremely
Return of Jafar, you know, we haven't reviewed this one. Again, we conveniently skip over that. We will get to it at one point in time. If you're new to the podcast, we frequently, for new listeners, new guests, we make them choose between Return of Jafar and then some other horrible direct-to-video sequel, as you know, which would you prefer?
Cringe-worthy. Like these things just make the insides just like, oh.
So we're not going to do that to ourselves just yet. We actually want to have a good time, and we did have a great time while watching this movie. So that was the first, and it really kicked off this new wave of Disney sequels for the Walt Disney Company. And it was huge because the first movie did over $160 million.
It was almost 200 million after it all ended.
In sales. And that's for a movie they didn't have to really, I mean, they promoted it, but they didn't necessarily have to do the big, marketing spend that they normally would for a big feature. The budget to actually make that was significantly less. And so, of course, after that, and they just see cha-ching, 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 dollar signs in the eyeballs, they said, yeah, we got to do this more. So
thank you, Michael Eisner.
And Aladdin at this time was incredibly popular. This third movie really kind of finishes this Aladdin arc. We start with the movie, and then we go into the TV show, which had a very long run. Yeah. And then we have, during that part, Return of Jafar is released. But this is really the capstone of all of that. And not the capstone. Capstone typically is the best. But it really is the end cap to that series, which had gone... I mean, this is 1996. Aladdin came out in 92. So this big 4-year span where Aladdin really had dominated. And side note, I loved the Aladdin TV series.
I did too.
A lot. I never missed it. And I frequently, when I played, with my friends, I would always pretend to be Thundra. If you don't know who Thundra is, she was this bird who could control the weather.
Yes.
And she was sort of like a girlfriend to Iago. She was green. She was fabulous. And I loved Thundra. So disappointed she did not make it into this movie or any of the films. But, she's strictly TV. But yes, Aladdin was a big deal. And here we are 4 years later, and we're still right in that magic carpet.
Yeah. This episode is brought to you by Prime Video. In the small town of Holland, Michigan, nothing is ever what it seems. Behind the tulip festivals and pretty houses lay dark secrets that threaten to tear a marriage apart. Nicole Kidman stars in this darkly twisted thriller about a wife and mother whose quest to uncover her husband's secrets may get her more than she bargained for. Holland, streaming on Prime Video, March 27th.
Well, this was actually, the director was Tad Stones. And I like to call him the father of the Disney afternoon because he was right there and he was executive producer on a lot of those shows. Like, for example, The Adventures of Gummy Bears, which, by the way, I can totally sing you the entire theme song to that one. Darkwing Duck, hello.
Mm-hmm. Let's get dangerous.
Let's get dangerous. And then he also went in and he was the director of Return of Jafar. And which he'll also say was not a great movie. He said he liked the beginning, but the end kind of fell apart. I was like, I got it. I'm glad
it's real. He's keeping it real.
He keeps it real. I like it. I mean, it's 20 years later. What else are you going to say? And then he also was the director, or at least an executive producer of the Aladdin TV series, the Hercules series, the Buzz Lightyear Star Command TV series, and the director of this movie.
Yes.
So I loved that, the fact that he was in charge of all of it. So that's why it felt so like there was an arc. Mm-hmm. There was a connection. Mm-hmm. And why I felt like even though I did not enjoy Return of Jafar, the Aladdin TV series was like still canonized. Like to me, it kind of is canon. Like, because it was the same guy in charge of it, even though he took over from the original directors, Ron and John. So it's not like the original through the whole thing.
Yeah.
But
close enough.
Close enough. I mean, he was there.
Yeah, so it's interesting because I was looking up, researching him, reading some interviews that he had done, looking at his career, and he may not be the most well-known guy, and the reason why is because his career path took him down TV and these direct-to-video sequels and movies. While he was there at, he was at Disney during The Rescuers in the 70s, and, I read that he was doing things for The Fox and the Hound, and he definitely was in on the ground floor doing that, but while his other counterparts ended up are bigger names, Glenn Keane and John Lasser and guys like that, they went off and did the feature films, and that's why maybe they're a little more well known. And it's a shame that he's kind of the B team, or not. He's not the B team, but his work, TV is considered B to some people.
To theatrical,
yes, exactly.
To
so
general population,
kind of a bummer.
It is.
So I have included some interviews that if you would like to read up on his career. Unfortunately, I mean, I read one that he did with AWN, and I was hoping he would dive into, Aladdin and the King of Thieves a little more. Not so much. There's really only 1 or 2 paragraphs where he talks about his experience doing that, namely saying, yeah, his third one's much better than the second. But it's a good read if you're interested in him, because I would love to interview him. I mean, the king or father of the Disney afternoon. Yes, please.
Yes, please.
But I will give you one little tidbit. He did share that, when Jeffrey Katzenberg came in, he mentioned that, he was looking over a reel or a section of the Black Cauldron, and he said, "Do you got another angle of this?" And they all looked at each other, and they're like, how naive is he, where he thinks that we just have another shot?
That's right.
That's just...
That would be Katzenberg.
It was Katzenberg, yes.
Yeah.
Just have another shot hanging around. Can I see the other angle?
Oh my gosh.
No, the animation doesn't work out. Maybe, obviously CGI, that's a little bit more possible.
CGI, but he came from a live action.
Yeah. So where, you have multiple cameras.
No.
Anyways, so yes.
Do you even have the angle of this? Oh my god.
Good times. Good times. So yes, at one point in time, I would love to interview him. He still is working today. He did a lot in TV. He left Disney in 2003. He's gone out and produced and directed quite a few things. I think he was a script producer working on scripts for Bob's Burgers back in 2011. So that's the most recent that I've seen of him, which is pretty cool. So, okay, we've talked over this, but release date of the film, August 13th, 1996. I was almost 10.
I was almost 10 as well.
So that's our age, everybody.
Yes.
And so I was trying to see, obviously we don't know budget, but we can assume that it is significantly less, and that has been stated by Disney multiple times, that they love these sequels because they were so cheap to produce.
Yeah.
They didn't have their main guys animating them in-house. They sent them to other studios off-seas. And so as far as box office, we know that the first Return of Jafar was very successful.
Hugely.
So I kind of wanted to get a grasp of, was this one as successful, less successful? To me, it's a better movie, but, the more you release in a series, typically the less well they do, Land Before Time. So I found actually an article from an Entertainment Weekly report from 1996 that had been republished on the internet. So it kind of gleaned some information. So within 5 days of being released, there were industry estimates that The King of Thieves had sold 6 million copies. So on average, you paid $16 per tape, which, oh my gosh, $16. Can you imagine if a Blu-ray nowadays was $16? Like now they're maybe like 20 to 30.
Yeah.
MSRP is more like 30 to 35, but not too shabby. So if it's about $16 a tape, they estimated that Disney in just those 5 days made $96 million. And I'm sure it's made more past those 5 days and years, and re-releasing it into DVD and then re-releasing it as the 2-movie collection.
3-movie collection.
Well, I don't think it's ever been released in a 3-movie collection with Aladdin. Yeah, typically with with like Mulan, they'll pair it with Mulan too, but Mulan is considered a B level compared to like Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast. For these other ones that are like, they're super popular, they keep those on the pedestal.
Oh, that's sad.
The Diamond Collection, the Platinum Collection. But this one usually is a 2-movie collection with the first one, which is sort of just like a throwaway movie at this point in time. So you really, if you're buying that, you're only buying it because this is your only way to purchase the movie. Right? On Blu-ray or DVD. It's like, I guess I have to have this other one. So.
Yeah. Well, it's like Hunchback of Notre Dame. It's like a 2-movie collection. It's like, and number 2. Like, nobody really wants to watch number 2.
So there were some really interesting quotes because, while we are talking about Aladdin and King of Thieves, I guess our nerdy couch discussion for this episode, which we can weave throughout, is sort of this burgeoning home direct-to-video market.
Yeah.
And so in this article, there's a very interesting quote that that one of the executives has. So Anna Daly, who's president of Disney's Buena Vista Home Video, said as to why this movie has done so well when it was released. She said, "It's the appetite of the video marketplace. The size in consumer dollars is something like 3 times the theatrical market," which is crazy because, and I was reading an article again by the director, and he did mention that, maybe is one of the reasons why Disney started to really falter in the early 2000s, is because they started to cannibalize their own market.
Right.
If a mother or a family decided, okay, do we take the family and spend $60, you know, maybe $30, $40 at the time to go see a movie in theaters, or do we just do this
wait for it
$20 a pop and buy it on home? So very interesting. And then there was another one. Another report saying that in 1997, the Wall Street Journal estimated that this movie had done $130 million in revenue. So
10 million units sold. That's holy crap.
That is not too shabby. And then also going back, so Leonard Maltin, you'll know him. He's an animation historian. He's written lots of books on animation. From that Entertainment Weekly article, he mentions that, talking about Disney and should they make more sequels, which is crazy to think that this was an actual conversation. Yeah. I mean, now it's like, stop making the sequels, stop making the remakes. But back then they'd only really done it for Aladdin. And I was like, should we do more? And this is what he says. He says, I'd as soon see them leave those old films alone.
Right.
If you've told the story well, it comes to a conclusion. And then the commentator, the reporter, says, "Sorry, Leonard. Disney's conclusion appears to be, if first you do succeed, draw again."
Whoever wrote that, kudos. That was an amazing line.
And we come back with the old Walt Disney line: "You can't beat pigs with pigs."
Yeah,
but they don't care.
They don't care.
They really don't care at this point. It's like pigs, and more pigs. Okay. So let's go back down to, memory lane. So if you recall, Robin Williams did not return for the second film.
Yeah, because there was a huge drama.
Yes, lots of drama with the first movie. They promised him, as part of the promotion for the original Aladdin, that they would not use his name like on movie posters and promote him. They'd promote the film. But Disney went against that. They couldn't hold it in. They said, "Oh, he's so good. We love him. We cannot not do that." And so he got very upset with them and did not return for the second movie. I believe Dan Castellaneta was the voice of the genie. And while he is a great voice actor, not the same. Just not quite the same. Robin Williams is such an amazing talent.
He's one of a kind. Mm-hmm. And I've actually watched a couple things of his lately, and it just makes my heart hurt.
I know.
It was just like, oh my gosh, you were so good. So amazing. Out of this world. Yeah. No wonder you were an alien in one of your first shows. Good.
Yeah. I was watching this and I felt the same thing. It was just sort of like my heart pang sadness for him. And now that he's gone and he's not with us, and watching the film, you can definitely see his direct influence on this, just like the first movie, where they basically just let him go and he went off script and he just did anything. I'm positive that if he were not to have returned, Dan Castellaneta would not have just done all this off the cuff hilarity. No. He just would have stuck to the script, done it. Robin Williams, that wasn't his style, and he knew this character. He loved the genie, and he did a great job. And there's just so many just off the wall references and things that I just
Geronimo.
No discredit.
Pocahontas.
No discredit to the writing team. I just don't think they could have come up with it because his mind was just so out there.
He's just so out of this world. And I love him. And he's just, man, he really does. He is the genie.
Yes.
And anything else, that's one of the main reasons why I believe that Return of Jafar was the dream sequence as opposed to the actual thing. It's just because you can't do that again without him. And I loved how in this film they brought everyone back. It wasn't just, they kept with Scott Winger. How do you say his last name? I never
it's Wagner? It's not Wagner.
No, it's Winginger or something.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Scott. I love you. I've been watching him on Fuller House lately.
Oh, yes. Me as well. I finished that season.
Yes. Ooh. the cliffhanger on that one.
Ooh.
Oh, man. But and you have Liz Calloway came in and did, the voice of Jasmine for singing. And, you just had everybody in there. So it was like, okay, good. We're actually doing this. Mm-hmm. And it's not just I'm just trying to, kill this holy cow.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
So here's a fun fact about the film. So, Aladdin, there is the very famous Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, which comes from the 1001 Arabian Nights book. And so this film was very much inspired by the Alibaba and 40 Thieves story, except for they replaced Alibaba with Aladdin.
Great source material.
Yes, very. And that's why it works. They took a story and adapted it that is beloved and cherished and has been around for a long time. And it works.
It's a story that works.
And, they added their own unique plot elements. For the most part, I liked it. So,
yeah.
Now, also, another fun fact is, and I got this from Wikipedia. Let me just tell you right now. For the first time since the original Aladdin, they had a completely new soundtrack. So previously, for Return of Jafar and the TV series, they just rearranged the original film score.
Yeah.
And said, here we go. Again, cost-saving measures, which I totally understand. But this score does stand out to me, just maybe because I've seen it so many times that it's very different scenes are very reminiscent, and I can pinpoint those. But it has a slightly different feel than the original Aladdin. A little bit. There's like those epic moments and swells when it's like they're in the desert in the 40 Thieves lair and things like that. But songs, not so much. We'll get there.
But the thing is, this soundtrack to me is kind of in the same vein as a Goofy movie soundtrack with the backgrounds.
Yeah.
It's both of them are Toon Disney.
Yeah.
And both of them have great soundtracks, I think.
Disney Toon.
Yes, Disney Toon Studios. I was looking into it because I was like, I'm going to look up this soundtrack on iTunes. So I look it up, and I look in there, and going back to the whole, really Disney didn't do anything with Return of Jafar. The only two Return of Jafar songs that were made for that, they're like just coupled in with Aladdin and the King of Thieves. And I'm like, what the? How do you even bring those in here? I don't approve the fact that they just decided, we'll couple this, in with this other CD, because now I feel like as I go ahead and I listen to it, it's like they're jumping around. They're taking me back to Return of Jafar when you've already gone through the first couple songs of it really messed with my head, and I did not appreciate it.
I'm trying to see who the composer was, but I'm having a hard time discovering that. There was if you look on the old IMDb, a quite extensive music department listed, but not necessarily. You got the composer for additional music is uncredited, so
that's lame.
Not quite sure what's happening there, but
all right. Look it up. No, I didn't see anything on iTunes.
Yeah, and
there are ways to find that out, but that's dumb that they wouldn't make it so easily found.
Yeah.
Well, it's just in one interview I saw with Tad, he just said, back in the day of, the early Disney days, as an artist, you never got a credit, and people just kind of accepted that. If you're going to be, somebody who does another character who's not one of the main characters, you're not going to get a credit.
Yeah.
And he's like, it really made me mad until Squeaks, the little bird, played himself. They credited the fact that this guy was not
Squeaks from Fox and the Hound.
Fox and the Hound, yes. And he just he was just a sound effect. He wasn't an actual thing.
The bird or the caterpillar.
The caterpillar.
Yes. Yeah. I read that too.
Yeah, I was at that point I got ticked.
Because he had done that. That was his sequence.
Yeah, he was the sound effect gets more of a shout out than I, who actually drew the thing.
The good old days of the 80s. So I think we've kind of already touched on this, but what are your initial thoughts and feelings of this movie?
So good. So when we were thinking about we were going through some of the different films that the patrons had listed, and when I saw that this one was on there, I was like, oh yes, thank you. This makes me so happy. I'm pretty sure this was one of those films that in the beginning, when we started the podcast, you and I were like, yeah, we have to do that one.
Here we are 141 episodes later. We're finally getting around to it.
We're finally getting to it.
So just to give a little shout out, this is Nick Vito. This is his patron pick. So thank you, Nick. Okay, so for me, obviously...
I just wanted to point out his second choice was the Page Master.
Which, yes!
Nick, I love your choices.
Yes, we will get to Page Master 2. Not Page Master 2. Is there a Page Master 2? Yeah, no. We won't be doing that. We will also be getting to Page Master at some point in time. No promises.
Are you in or without a doubt. I'm the one you need for a dirty deed. I'm the best. Success is guaranteed. Are you men or mice? Take a slice of my advice. You want a fearless leader, one that's strong and stout. Better vote for me. Are you in or out?
I love this movie. I spent the first 30 minutes of this podcast kind of gushing about it, and just alert. Yes, we are biased. Yes, completely. We are just have the nostalgia goggles on and on hard. So
on hard, like on.
If you hate this movie and you're really looking for like a true critical analysis, this
is not your episode.
This is not the episode for you. This is just kind of good old reflecting 90s times. But
this is a Chelsea and Morgan episode, a la
the Swan Princess episode, episode 12. That's a great one. Yes, I think until Mason returns, I think a lot of the episodes leading up till his return will kind of be like this. So I love this movie, and I cannot tell you how many times my brothers and I watched this movie. We watched it all the time.
All the time.
And watching it even, now to prepare, I loved it. It was so good. I didn't feel that I was bored at any point.
From line one, opening song.
Yes, exactly. The genie is great. The songs are not fantastic, but they've definitely grown on me because I just grew up watching them and listening to them. When they do come up on my Disney playlist, I do not skip them. Let's just put it that way. And so let's just dive right into it. The quotes. This, like Chelsea said, this movie from the very first line, in color.
Some of you don't believe. Oh my gosh. There's so many.
And it's all him.
It's all Robin Williams. It's a Kodiak moment. Get that bear out of here. That is a quote I often use and nobody gets it.
Oh, man. I feel like 15 years ago, people would have gotten it.
People would have gotten it.
No, but that's from the original movie.
No, that's from this one.
It isn't?
It is. It's like, they're about to get married. It's a Kodiak moment. Get that bear out of here.
Oh, he does the little finger thing in the original movie, like, hey, you just won the Heart of the Princess. What are you going to do next? Oh, gotcha. Anyways, back we go. So, lots of quotes, even from the very beginning, and then we have this opening song, There's a Party Here in Agrabah, and the party's all for me, which they changed Brad Kane's voice. I don't think Brad Kane came back. If he did, well, he did something to his voice because singing Aladdin does not sound the same. Brad Kane's the singing voice.
Yeah.
He came back?
Yeah, he was on the soundtrack.
Oh, well, that's bizarre because he sounds like he has gone back 10 years because he's like, there's a party here in Agrabah, and the party's all for me. But
it was his first time out of the box. Give him a break.
So this song, I love it because every basically line is quotable. You mustn't wear an outfit that's naughty.
Oh my gosh. They're finally getting married.
It's a party in Agrabah.
There's a party in Agrabah.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. So, yeah, I think, sorry if that's kind of like the main theme of this episode, but...
Morgan and Chelsea singing!
So we're going into the movie, and it's like, but where is the groom? And of course, it's the classic case of wet feet. Aladdin, he's back in his streetwear, or street rat wear.
Which, throughout the whole TV series, it's like, why are you still in this garb? Like, you have a guy who will make anything for you, let alone a genie that will make anything for you. So, I don't understand.
They always did this in the movies. Like, they give him new wardrobe. They did this with the genie as well, with, like, the slavery bracelets.
Right.
He just didn't look the same without him.
No. Does he have him again?
He looks naked. Yeah, he always, in the TV series and then in the both movies, he has them back on. It's more like...
Now they're just more of a trinket.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, well, this is my reminder of my time in servitude, that I'm never going back.
I just like him, okay?
Like, hey, I can't help if I look so good. I'm stylish slave.
Yes.
But yeah, they frequently do this, like in TV series, where they just have him wear the one outfit. But I mean, Aladdin, his outfit was so iconic, and again, I mean, these new fancy clothes are so itchy. They're not like my other ones with the fleas and no,
I don't have fleas.
So yeah, he goes back, and then they're setting it up where they have the dagger, with the hand on it.
Yes.
This podcast is supported by Progressive, a leader in RV insurance. RVs are for sharing adventures with family, friends, and even your pets. So if you bring your cats and dogs along for the ride, you'll want Progressive RV insurance. They protect your cats and dogs like family by offering up to $1,000 in optional coverage for vet bills in case of an RV accident, making it a great companion for the responsible pet owner who loves to travel. See Progressive's other benefits and more when you quote RV insurance at Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Pet injury is an additional coverage and subject to policy terms.
It's like, oh, my father's like, oh, is he having the chicken or the sea bass? And I love that they bring that line back.
I love
when the dad comes. He's like, you're his father.
There's only one thing I need to know. Yeah? What's that? Will you be having the chicken or the sea bass?
It's very good. Okay, so yeah, he has cold feet, and eventually they get him back there, and then this reminds me of the moment from the first film where the genie is narrating the Prince Ali, and he's acting like the Macy's Day Parade commentators, and this is a similar thing. And so I love all the guests. It's Moses, Cleopatra, and Caesar, and oh, look, they brought a salad.
Thor. You're Thor? Well, it hurts.
And brought to you by sand. It's everywhere. Get used to it. Sorry again, this is a quote fest. Another similar quote fest episode is episode 40, Robin Hood.
Yes.
Yes. So, but yes, I need a genie to just make my wedding super magical.
That's what I need, yes.
When he did the boom and then
the doves
with
flying
the thing. And then I love that this is one of the most classic quotes from the trailer and the movie when they finally reveal what Jasmine looks like, which she always looks like, although not really, because she's seriously off model.
Yeah.
Her eyes have grown probably 2 sizes.
I never thought that she looked good in this.
No.
Was
she really that hard to draw? Like, I understand they had to cut corners for time, but she's off model.
You should have put some time into this moment.
Aladdin, exactly. The big reveal where Aladdin goes, wow.
And his whole head rolls off his it rolls off his shoulders.
Oh, it's so good. So yes, she looks good, kind of. If you count off model as good.
Oh my gosh. What's funny is, though, I remember watching Say Yes to the Dress, because, yes, I watched that show. And apparently in some Middle Eastern cultures, it's very bad luck to wear white at your wedding.
Oh,
and so I was like, I wonder.
Well, Aladdin did get some backlash for not being very culturally sensitive. In the 90s, they tried a little bit. But they didn't go all out, like they did with Moana and actually getting a lead character,
right.
Who was a Pacific Islander or character, but voice actress and whatnot. So, I mean, you gotta cut him a little slack. If it's bad luck, maybe it is bad luck because they didn't actually get married in that point in time.
It's true.
So, yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
That'll teach you.
So then, of course, the wedding gets, the band. We see throughout the first song, we see the thieves kind of inserting themselves. They're hiding in baskets and whatnot. And, then they're attacking randomly, which wouldn't have been my go-to. I would have done, okay, everyone's distracted by the wedding. Let's stealthily do all this in the ground. But no, they just poof, here we are.
No. They sent out the elephants.
Oh, yeah.
So the elephants destroy the whole place. And you got even the genie, because you have to do something with the genie to make sure that he's not in your way, I guess.
Yeah.
And so he's up holding the roof up. Yes, so that's his job.
But don't you think it's still, rather than sending the elephants loose, would have been better to just keep it, let's not create turmoil and chaos. But then again,
they're the 40 thieves.
They are the 40 thieves. That's what they do. They fight like demons. They're worse than demons. These are the 40 thieves.
Really? I count 39.
40.
I love Aladdin. I love Scott Winger. He's just he's got the greatest voice, and the fact that he was always this character makes it so nice.
Oh, I know. And then
I can't listen to him without thinking Aladdin.
Oh yeah, and when you watch him in Fuller House now, it's just you're so old.
But you're so old.
Exactly. Which is so sad.
It happened to us too. Come on, Morgan.
I know. So, what are they after? The gifts? Not all the gifts. This is what the King of Thieves wanted. So you get the oracle. And can I just ask the question that nobody's asking? who the heck gave Aladdin and Jasmine an oracle for their wedding? Like,
girlfriend, where are you registered?
Exactly. I mean, this is kind of valuable.
How did you know that it was going to be given as a gift?
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, why didn't they try to just get that person instead of? Well, I guess like after you've asked your question, it's basically useless.
Yeah, I know.
But so it's just a one-time use gift, and then you pass it on, and you can re-gift it, and people actually really are appreciative. Yeah. Sweet, I got an oracle. And so Iago, he wastes his question.
Right.
But shouldn't Jasmine's question have counted because she said, what were they after, the gifts? Shouldn't have the oracle said, no, they were after me?
Yeah, I don't know. Because that one's hard. I would say that it's because he was standing on it, but actually later on, when they're like, no, ask the question, where is the hand of Midas or whatever? Yeah. Like, it's not him that's holding the oracle. It's one of the other lackeys. Yeah. So it's like...
what could you do?
And it's like, why didn't one of the other lackeys ask the question?
Yeah, yeah.
They didn't really need the King of Thieves to ask the question.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's like, they're like, no, this is your question. We're taking you to the end. I don't want to waste my question.
But at this point in time, they hadn't really, like, split off. Like, he was still their leader, and other than the one guy. But, and she's like a broken record.
Yeah.
One question. One question. One question.
One question.
One question. So, did she just pull an Aladdin? You know when Aladdin tricks the genie into giving him a wish, but he doesn't actually wish for it?
Yes.
Did Aladdin do that? Did she do that to Aladdin? Because, notice, he doesn't ask his question, but she's like, here, but let me just show you a vision of your father who's alive. I'm like, whoa.
Questions I didn't know I needed.
She's like, maybe this will help you know.
It's like, this is
no
more
hints.
Like,
no hints.
I don't want you to know, I don't want you to ask about the hand of Midas, so about your father. Ask about that.
I see, pointing you in the other direction. I like it. So, this movie I love because I really just love the plot and the pacing of it. But then he's going to go off and find his dad. But not before we have a sappy love number that completely ruins the whole thing. This is the most forgettable of all the songs to me. It's just...
I don't know. I mean, I kind of appreciated it because thinking about even now looking at the Broadway musical, they have the Proud of Your Boy song. And so it kind of adds a little bit more back-end story of Aladdin because you're like, yeah, you didn't come out of thin air. Like,
people like you
don't come out of thin air.
So, just like that little melody right there. Yeah. It's like, oh, so 90s.
It is. But I think it did add a little bit of the backstory, and maybe that's why they wanted it in there, to just kind of like make it more of
they need to re-emphasize that, like, yeah, your dad may be this big bad guy, but you're not that.
Well, they didn't know that he was the bad guy at that time.
Oh.
Because they're just like...
Right.
Like, you just
because
out.
he's who am I?
Right. But, I mean, the fact that it's a duet, it has to be kind of a you show me the world. I had to bring that in, because I've got to go back to the first movie.
On a magic carpet ride, I love you. No.
I love you.
Yes. You show me the way.
Yeah. Show me who I am. And I'm locked up inside. People like you don't come out of thin air. Yeah, the thing is, like, at the end, though, he's just like, don't worry, I'll be back in time for our wedding. Like, did you already set another date?
Yeah, like, we missed something here.
To me, it sounds like more of something you would say in the effect of, I will be back to marry you. Yeah. Like... you've already set a date for this. Don't worry, I won't miss it. I won't leave you at the altar. Like, I feel like our wedding can wait. Yeah. I love you. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so Aladdin's out and he's wearing his rogue outfit. Complete with a turban. It's good to see him back in the turban. And we meet Kasim, Aladdin's dad. I love Aladdin's dad. And I love Aladdin's dad's voice because he's acted by John Rhys Davies, who you might know as Gimli, and he's just done all sorts of things. But, nonetheless, as much as I like him, the Welsh accent, how did he get that?
So he's been around. He's been gone since, like, he left his family when they were young, so where else is he gone?
Figures, yes. But, I mean, I never noticed it at the time, like, at all that he had an accent, but going back, I'm like, huh. That's interesting. And I just need to get this out here. Aladdin's dad, he's hot.
He is, agreed.
Like, Aladdin has a lot to look forward to in aging and getting older.
Jasmine has a lot to look forward to.
Oh, that's true. That. I mean, I've always thought Aladdin was an attractive character, but his dad, I mean, with that little scruff, I'm like,
he's so sophisticated with the gray along the side.
Yeah, a little salt and pepper.
As opposed to, like, going totally bald. You know, that type is, like, I can appreciate that.
Yes. Ah, good times. The old debate, do you find cartoon characters attractive? Like, yes, of course. Okay?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Okay, so then we go back to the genie, and Genie's comforting Jasmine, and I laughed out loud. I cracked up during this part. I was like, listen to Genie, dear. Genie knows. And Mrs. Doubtfire. I mean, if you maybe... I'm sure kids nowadays may not put the two and two together.
I've been watching this movie now.
I don't know. You can't even get this at the VHS bin at Goodwill because like no one wants VHS anymore.
Right.
Like my mom, she was clearing out a big room of all this stuff, and it's like the kids' playroom, and she just stored all the old VHSs there. And I'm like, Mom, get rid of these. Like you have a majority of them on DVD. She's like, yeah, but we got to keep them, right? I'm like, yes, if you count out the $16 per tape that you spent on all these, it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
But like, we don't watch this anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
But I know some people do. There are actually some avid collectors of VHS, and
we still have all of ours.
Well, you actually have a VHS player that works.
Yes.
My mom does not. It was broke.
God.
So therefore, what is the purpose of
this?
I probably should have led with that.
Yes, lead with that next time.
VHS is broken. Mom still wants to keep them.
That does have a...
anyways, going back. So, yes, Genie, I love this. This really has nothing to do with the plot other than it's just a really funny Genie moment.
Oh, I love
this is one of those times where he was just riffing.
Yeah.
And, he's planning the second wedding. And I love that we mentioned this in the first movie, but he's clearly able to pass through space and time.
Right.
He just has all these different, quotes and references that it goes over the characters' heads, but to us, it's hilarious. I love, when he's having her dress up like the Disney princesses and Snow White. And I see lasers, lights.
Vegas.
And then, let's see, he's listing all the different colors and salmon. So, it's good.
It's good.
Just so good. And it's so random, just all the things I just mentioned in the past 30 seconds. It's just one right after another.
If you're thinking about this person, if I actually had this Genie person in front of me and they're pulling things out of space and time, I don't get any of your jokes.
I love you, but just smile and nod.
Yeah.
Just smile and nod.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Which is man, that would actually be really funny to see.
Okay, so then we go back to Aladdin. Aladdin does actually meet his dad.
Which, actually, this was something that I found. I was like, oh, how clever, not clever, but how convenient that you leave Genie at home. Because he's just going to ruin this whole thing, honestly. The whole, it's got to be intense. Genie is not for intense. So we're going to leave you home to do construction work. And Iago is going to come with you instead as you travel across to follow the 40 Thieves.
Yes, because we need to take this movie seriously. This is
and also Iago is definitely going to be the one to, hey.
Oh, yeah.
They still have the Oracle.
Oh, of course. He sees an opportunity. He will not let that pass.
Those are great. That's great allocation of characters.
Yep. But at this point, they knew their character strengths.
Yes.
So, and then Kasim shows them, my men don't even know about this place. Is this really good to keep secrets from your men?
Yes.
But I guess when you're king, they have all sorts of secrets. So then we hear the father and son song.
Well, no, before that, here's the thing. You go back and he's like, I'm showing you this, the whole... Well, he's telling a story about why he left Aladdin.
Yeah.
Which is okay, how do you just totally forgive him for that, right away? And I can understand you wanting to, have that relationship, but just I'm your son. Run! I got you! What?
Yeah.
And then they're in there and they're showing him this golden, boat that's down at the bottom. It's why not just sell the boat? I mean, it's not like you can't go down there and like haul this up or not. Why are you keeping
chip
this
away, get some big chunks of it.
Yeah.
And then piece by
You're
piece.
good.
That was a great point. A solid gold boat.
And it's just like stem to stern, that thing is down there. It's huge.
Yeah. Chelsea, I like you're thinking how it should have ended.
This is how it should have ended right there. Just end it right here. Get your men, pull this thing out, and let's just like divvy it out. You're good. But of course, you had to get greedy.
No. I always have to get greedy. I want more.
I want more.
I want more.
I want to be where the gold is.
Solid gold hubcap. Okay, so then we have this. So the genie arrives, right? Or do they go? They take him back.
They take him back. So they're like, all right. Iago says, all right, hey, come get the oracle. You want to come to the wedding? Because this dad's like, I don't know you, basically.
Yeah.
So he's like, but you still got to go. How could you miss your only son's wedding? Mm-hmm. So he brings him back, and he comes up, and here comes the dad song, because he's dressed in his garb.
Yes.
And he's dressed in his King of Thieves garb.
Yes.
And so Genie has to somehow, in a nice way, change the garb.
Yes.
To a suitable, I am Aladdin's father, back from the dead. And yes, it's a big, bright, beautiful future. Hanging right on the family tree.
I like this song.
I like it too.
I like the lyrics. They just make me laugh. Doodle grandpa, lots of babies on your knee.
Yes.
On the comfy couch while we're playing one-on-one. It's back to back to the shack together.
Together, as father and son.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Yep, that just happened, guys. And I always, so this is like a weird Morgan moment, like,
Empower. Claire is practicing her breathing for her upcoming yoga retreat in Bali. Has she ever done yoga before? No. But Claire worked with Empower on her savings and investment strategy. She got good at money, so she can be a little bad. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Join our 19 million customers today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risks. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisor Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Om Namaste.
The part that always stands out to me is like, maybe a bump, and I can't do it because I can't sing this low, but maybe a bumpy ride. And
then take it side by side.
Take it side by side. Gotta
maybe
love
a bumpy ride. Yeah, that's low.
Come on, Aladdin. It's... Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I think we're just going to keep saying, it's so good, it's so good. Yes, but then Razul, I mean, he is one of the palace guards, but he has always been sort of a shady palace guard, more of a letter of the law. I wouldn't say shady. In the first movie, we really have no... I guess the reason we don't like him is because he doesn't like Aladdin. But if you see it from his side, he's just trying to do his job.
It's true.
And but
TV show, too.
Yes.
He was not the best friend during the...
Yeah, but he's not an evil guy.
No.
But here, he seems to be working with the next member of the 40 Thieves. Is that borderline treason? He's starting to get a little bad.
Well, from his motives is he's trying to capture them all. How did he even meet up with Saluk?
Let's see. Let's read the synopsis. Saluk fights Aladdin, later manages to prevail by overthrowing a cliff. He's welcomed to the band. How does it go? Dead above. Join the club.
Taking whatever you please. Got to grab some chair. Pull up an easy chair. Welcome to the 40 Thieves. What's his... Like, I don't see. Oh, man. That great lyricist in that.
Meanwhile, Saluk makes his way to Agrabah. He reveals himself to Razul and sells out his fellow thieves by telling Razul the password to their hideout in exchange for immunity from prosecution.
Yeah, so he's not a prisoner. So yeah, I think he is doing a little bit of treason. But maybe for him, he's just like...
Well, he's like, okay, we'll get rid of one to gain all the rest. Yeah, in his mind, it's justified.
It's like the communist thing back in the, when everyone was red. It's like, oh, we'll let you go as long as you tell us who your 5 friends in the Communist Party are. That's true. That's what it is. So I love the part, though, when he's just like, what's more important than sentencing my prisoners? And then the other random guard that comes in is like, oh, it's the wedding of Jasmine and Aladdin. Who is Rob Paulson?
Oh.
Is that voice? And I'm like, it's Rob. Like, you can't unhear Rob Paulson.
Just like Jim Cummings, who plays Razul.
Yes, you can't unhear these guys once you know who they are. And so Rob Paulson comes in, and like, actually, he was just diagnosed with cancer not too long ago. Yeah, it made me really sad. But he took like a break off of his podcast for a bit. I think he's back now, because I saw that on Twitter that he was like, I'm kind of back now.
Oh, so,
wow. So all my love and support to Rob Paulson.
Seriously, he's amazing.
He really is.
I love
him. So yeah, send him love. But this is, that was just that moment where I was like, yes. And then right after that is the quote that I always think of, as I mentioned in the beginning, is because why would Aladdin be with him? Because his father is the King of Thieves. Oh, man.
Okay, so now we journey with Aladdin and the father. Well, they try to... What happens here with the father, who, like, the father reveals himself? He gets shady.
Oh, because he tries to steal the oracle again.
Oh, yes. He tries to steal the oracle, and then, the Sultan's going to put him in prison for life.
Right.
And at first I'm like, whoa, put him in life? That's a bit harsh, no? But then again, he's the king of the 40 Thieves. We are not, you kind of understand the enormity of that title, but I'm assuming they've done a lot of bad stuff.
Right.
So that's probably justified.
Well, it's like when you're watching Curse of the Black Pearl, Pirates of the Caribbean, at the very end, it's like, while humorous in quantity, serious in nature. Yes. All of his dirty deeds. Like, no wonder we're having issues.
Okay, so, but Aladdin, of course, he can't see his dad be put in prison, so he helps him escape. And then...
Escape out of my life. Go all drama right there, too. Can't forget that.
And then, he lets him go, and then they're like, all right, let's go. And he's like, no, I'm not going to run away, am I?
I'm not like you. I'm like, go you, Aladdin. You go back home.
So he does go back home, and he's actually kind of parted by the Sultan. The Sultan's like, oh, well, you did the right thing.
You're for family, it's for love.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, what? How many bad things do people do because out of love, quote unquote?
Yes.
And it's like, is that really a pardonable thing?
Yeah, I don't know about that, but...
Whatever.
Yeah.
It progresses the storyline.
Yes, exactly.
There are family bias here, and I'm okay with it.
Now we're in, like, Act 3.
The Act 3 is basically they're like, well...
Well, Qasim has the oracle, because Aladdin let him keep it, and they use the oracle to find the exact location.
Well, because Iago gets out.
Yes.
They steal, so the band of 7 or whatever. Oh my gosh. The in or out. We have to talk about in. Are you in or out? Dirty crossers or devout? If you get with me, if you stick with me, I'm the prince of generosity. I don't know the words.
Are you out or in?
Oh man. Oh, so that's a
sink
song.
or swim.
Yes.
Are you in or out? Are you in or out?
Great song. Yeah, so you have that song where Saluk is bringing the rest of the 7 that are left over out of the 40. And then they kidnap Qasim. They take him. Well, they kidnap him. They take him on the boat.
Yes.
And they're like, now ask your question. And Iago's like, now's good, fine, whatever. He's out. He flies back.
These guys aren't so smart. They really don't realize that you do not need Qasim to ask this question. Like, you have the oracle. Just ditch him off the boat and ask it yourself. You got 7 tries.
Right. Whatever. They're like, I don't want to waste mine.
Yeah.
That's my question.
I wonder about my dad.
He never knew his father.
So it's super good.
And so Iago goes back, tells him to come, and Aladdin's like, fine, he's my father. I must go save him. Like, no, you don't, but whatever. So he goes, and then you meet the turtle.
Ah, good old Turtle Island.
On the back of the Turtle Island, which I thought was a good idea.
It's pretty cool.
Was that a part of the original, do you know? Probably was. We'll go with it, yeah. It was.
Well, if not, we'll edit this in post.
Yeah, right. So they're on the back of the turtle. And you hear, like, don't you see, Aladdin? We were meant to do this together. And I'm like,
yeah,
maybe not. But okay. So now it's like the big old adventure of them trying to get this hand of Midas.
Yeah.
And you also have the people, so Lucas trying to steal it as well. So, okay. We've set the scene. This is apparently the big moment, This whole movie is reaching up to this moment when they're on the back of the giant turtle. And now what?
There's a big fight.
Yeah. I always thought that the fact that when he gets the hand and he throws it over at Kasim and he's like, what do I catch it with? My cape. Mm-hmm. And now my cape is solid gold threads. Like, that is a wicked awesome cape.
That's a pretty heavy cape.
That's a heavy cape. I would like that cape, actually. Like, individual strands of gold.
That would look good with your wedding garb. Like, all white and then the gold.
That's
styling
right there.
Yeah, and Saluk, of course, he's not really too smart. He grabs, after this big fight, Kasim realizes, okay, I'm going to throw this to him, and he's not going to realize, and he'll turn to gold. And of course, not the best pose, because he's like, no. His arms are up, and like, that's your last way that people are going to remember you. Not too good. He sinks down. He basically dies.
Yeah.
But because he turned to gold, it's like, we don't feel as bad.
Right.
He didn't.
No, you died.
Yeah.
You killed off this character.
Yeah.
Have they ever done that in, one of the Aladdin shows? I think this is the only time. Yeah, Jafar doesn't die, does he?
I can't remember how Jafar meets his demise in the second movie, but
I don't know.
Let's move on.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyways, and then, so he's like, oh, what's the quote? Dad, you waited your whole life for this.
You are the ultimate treasure. Bring in the moral of the story right here.
Of course. Like, the whole movie had to have a moral. It wasn't the 90s.
You were watching from the beginning. You knew this was the moral. This was coming. Like, your treasure.
Yeah.
Your family, man. It's the family, man. You have them standing together. No. You are my ultimate treasure. But here's one thing I didn't understand. Why did he turn the whole castle gold? I feel like the inside when he's like turns everything inside the little thing gold. I feel like the turtle would be really ticked at that point.
Well, yeah, because now the turtle is basically trapped and can't come back up for air. Right. So he killed the turtle too.
You just killed this turtle.
Yeah, I think he did it because he didn't want it to be able to resurface someplace else. But
I think he was just trying to make something really...
You just murdered a turtle. A giant, mystical turtle. Hopefully that turtle is strong enough where...
Hopefully.
Yeah, very unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. Yeah.
So, yes.
I think get PETA on that. Like, that should have been something that they really should have paid attention to. Oh, speaking of stylish, I'm really glad that Jasmine has that little, two-piece outfit in all colors. The original was teal.
Yep.
Now we got into pink.
Oh, and we had red.
We did have red, yes. Her red outfit is great.
Hey, when you got something that works, you gotta...
Work that bod, girl.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta buy them in all the colors that we have for the rest of your life. So, they eventually do get married in the end.
Yes.
So, finally we made it. They finally get married.
Finally get married. Oh my gosh.
They finally got married.
Sultan's laugh.
He's cute. He's just like a little Winnie the Pooh.
He is. Oh my gosh. I love the Sultan. He's like, this is a happy day. Oh, yeah. As we said at the beginning. Oh man. I loved the ending that they brought in the Arabian Nights from the very first movie. I felt like that was the thing that was missing in both of the other movies. It was this, where did this guy come from? This peddler dude.
Yep.
And now you wrap it up, bring it all.
They were supposed to reveal that in the first movie, but they ended up not. That the peddler was actually the genie.
Yeah.
They ended up doing the different ending. It made you look, but that was always the intention. So I really am glad, like you say, that they brought that. And here's the end of the saga, and now we're going to finally reveal this last piece.
Yeah.
So, all right, well.
You should tell them about your new gift that you got for your new house.
Okay, so that's one thing. So at the very end of the movie, what does the genie say? He says, so they're singing the Arabian Nights at the very end, and he's like, do you not want a rug?
Want a rug?
And so it's this rug of Aladdin and Jasmine, and it's so...
Of their wedding.
It's totally like the royal family, when Diana got married. You know, there was all these things, commemorative pieces of merchandise that you could buy. That was like a really big thing. And obviously now, you know, with the new royal wedding that happened a few years ago, same thing.
Yeah.
People love a good old-fashioned royal wedding.
Of course they do.
They want to get in on the merchandise. Yeah, it's great. Now, tying that back to me, when I saw that rug and it had a picture of Aladdin Jasmine's face on it, I cracked up. I could not die. I could not die. I couldn't stop laughing because I recently moved into a new home, and throughout the process of buying a home, my realtor, she
trying to help, you know, build a relationship there.
She found out that I liked Disney, and once she did, and she like checked out my YouTube channel and watched all my videos, which like I don't like people in my real life to know about my podcasting YouTube life, just because most people
closet nerd.
They don't get it. They're
They're
like, you like Disney, you like kids movies, and it's just I don't want to go there because I don't want to deal with you and your ignorance.
Yes.
Okay? I'm done. But she loves Disney as well. So, you know, like you meet a fellow Disney fan, it's an instant bond. So once she found out, she talked to me all the time. She said she watched all my videos. So then as a housewarming gift, she got me this blanket. And I am going, when the day this episode comes out, I'm going to post it onto the Rotoscopers Instagram. But it is a woven Aladdin and Jasmine throw blanket of their faces, basically like in the movie, in the rug.
Yes.
And I was just like, oh my gosh, I own that.
Well, another thing is Morgan and I aren't really that much on merchandise. We like books. We like different things. There's certain things that we
got
do
all the
like.
movies, soundtracks. But as far as like having a mural in my house,
having a throw rug, like it's just not number one on our list.
Yeah, exactly.
That we would do. But that's just amazing. High, like, props to your realtor.
Yes, exactly.
That's amazing.
So I will keep it. It'll be a good rug to use. So
can I just say that also that this movie has perfect replay value for me? The moment it ended, and even throughout the movie, I'm like, can I just start over and like watch this again?
I agree.
I want to watch this again. It was that much fun, that much like just good memories to be brought back, and all those quotes. Oh, so many quotes.
I think the first third of the movie really is the best because it's just jam-packed, lots of quotes, lots of hilarity. The ending, I mean...
The turtle part, you know, once they get there...
It gets more serious, you know, so they have to do it. And it's good overall, but I like just the jokey, like, nonsense at the beginning.
Basically, anytime they like send the genie away, they have to to push the plot along.
Yes,
because Genie is not about the plot.
Which, if this was an all Genie movie, I wouldn't complain.
I wouldn't complain either. I'd be like, yes, just an hour of watching you being you makes my life happy. But all in all, what would you? So perfect replay value for me. So that adds to the star value for sure. The nostalgia in general adds to the star value. I'm going to give... Am I going to give this a 5-star? I don't know.
Hey,
no.
Our ratings mean nothing.
It means nothing. But I think I am going... no. I'm going to give it a 4-star. Yeah. It's a 4-star for me, for sure. I can't give it in good conscience, you know. I can't give it a 5. I want to, but I'm going to give it a 4 and just say that this movie makes me happy every day.
Yes.
If I haven't watched it in years.
Yes.
Years. But I could watch it again.
Yes, exactly. So when we were doing this movie, sometimes there's movies that I'm like, oh, it takes me a while to get to them.
Yeah, there's movies on Netflix right now that, like, for example, we have Zootopia, which is a great movie. I loved that movie. I had great things to say about it. But it doesn't hold the same replay value for some reason.
You have to be like a certain mood.
Yeah.
To watch it.
Because I know it has like it's got this, it has its own moral, but it's like, kind of whacks you over the head with it too. So it's just like, for that reason, I have a hard time like jumping into it, but not saying that it's bad, but it's like, yeah, what you said, it's like, you have to be in a mood. This one, I don't have to be in any mood. Yeah. I can just turn it on,
throw it on, and it's great.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give it...
This episode is brought to you by Honda. Introducing the all-new, all-terrain Honda Passport Trail Sport. The most off-road capable Honda Passport Honda has ever dreamt up. The Passport features increased ground clearance, roof rails on all trims, and available specially developed all-terrain tires. And you'll stay comfortable with Tri-Zone climate control and available features like heated and ventilated front seats and a panoramic moonroof. Learn more at honda.com/passport.
I'm like between 4, 4.5. I know it's not a 5. I'm going to give it a good solid 4 stars.
Okay.
Because I just love it. I always have loved this. I have watched this who knows how many times growing up. There's just so many hilarious quotes and good moments. The songs, while I think if someone who's never seen this movie came in watching it, they may not think these are the best songs in the world. No. And they're not, but they are pretty. The lyrics are great. They're Howard Ashman-esque.
Yes.
Even though he's not around. They're just very quirky and clever, and I like it. And I love Robin Williams. I'm very glad that he was back. And it's just so good. And guys... Disclaimer, yes, we're biased, but it's hilarious. It's such a good movie.
We warned you at the beginning. Like, you can't...
Exactly. This is one of those... You know when we're reviewing Aladdin and the King of Thieves. I mean, come on.
Come on. So...
It's a big, bright, beautiful future. Thank your lucky stars you're alive. You got someone special to talk to. A friend that you can trust for life. You've been on your own with no family ties, but those solo days are done. You'll be two of a kind, spending quality time together as father and son.
We do have some voicemails.
We do.
Which we are going to play, and they are voicemail reviews. We're going to add those after the fact. So...
It's a bachelor party, big boy, but none for you. You're the designated flyer. Hello, this is Alex calling in to give my review of Aladdin and the King of Thieves. In my opinion, this film is better than The Return of Jafar, but not nearly as good as the original. I do like it better than the TV series as well, but that's not saying a whole lot. I think that it's one of the best Disney sequels, but not the best. And the main area that makes it watchable is Robin Williams' return as the genie. I thought it was absolutely hilarious when he turns into the Secret Service when Aladdin's father comes back. And the main areas that disappointed me were the animation in the songs. The animation didn't look like it had much effort put into it, and the songs were rather repetitive. They didn't really care for them. I also think that the story is deeper than you would normally find in a Disney sequel, but still not up to par with a typical Disney movie. Overall, I give this film 3.5 stars. I don't think it's perfect. There are many areas that could be improved, but I think it's a fine sequel. Alright, bye.
Hello, you guys. It's Lauren. I really, really love Aladdin and the King of Thieves. I was waiting for you to do this for a very long time. This movie is very personal to me because I could actually relate to Aladdin for the first time ever. It's no secret that Jasmine is my favorite character and the one that has helped me the most, but in this movie, I just wanted to hug Aladdin. I could understand completely what he was going through. To make a long story short, as my parents got divorced, my mother wasn't in my life for a long time. So when she came back into it, it was really hard. So I really did appreciate that they weren't afraid to go there with this. They just really laid it out and were realistic with how Jazz and how Genie really helped him to understand that he needed to try to give Kasim a second chance and let his father prove to him that he could be the father that he needed, even though he hadn't been there for him before. And I really applaud them for doing that. Have a really good show, and you guys are amazing. Adios.
Hello, Rotoscopers. It's Jeremiah, calling about your 5-year anniversary episode, which was very fun to hearing you guys talk about your favorite memories and even going into a little bit of personal information about your personalities and your experiences have been with the website and with the podcast. It was just very fun and quite special and just something I really enjoyed. In particular, it was fun hearing you talk about the YouTube channel, which usually doesn't come up because it's its own thing, but that's how I discovered you guys. It was really fun because YouTube just stood out. YouTube meaning Morgan and Chelsea, because you're the hosts of the YouTube channel, and I discovered you thanks to your Norm of the North review. And so neither of you were quite happy, but you were still very perky, and it was just a very entertaining review. And you also had art book reviews on there, which, you had a blend on your channel, which made it unique and entertaining. And I liked you as people. I just liked spending time with you, so to speak. And you kept saying over and over, listen to our podcast. By the way, you should really listen to our podcast. Finally, he decided, all right, I will listen to your podcast since nothing else will please you, I guess. Imagining that you are ending your videos like that would suddenly stop. I don't know if I listened. And Mason, the episode I listened to, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, that was my first encounter with him, and I was very impressed by this guy because he was going what it's like to animate food and why it's difficult and rendering it. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. This is very cool. It was just a very fun experience going deeper into animation, one of my very favorite things, and I've learned to love animation even more thanks to you guys. And I heard your Balto episode recently for the first time, and I loved it when Chelsea called Boris Uncle Waldo. My sister cracked up, so did I. We had to pause it because we were laughing too hard. Also, my favorite episode is the Cinderella episode because, you made me realize how much I love Cinderella, and Cinderella, since it's become quite a role model to me. And I love it that Morgan suddenly gets mad when Mason brings up the Blu-ray. If you want to hear Morgan mad, people, listen to the Cinderella episode, because Morgan rips into that Blu-ray.
Here's a kiss and a hug. Sure you don't need a rug? I assure you the price is right. Well, salam, worthy friend, come back soon. That's the end. Till another Arabian night.
All right, so that concludes this episode of the Animation Addicts podcast. Thank you so much. Thanks to Nick, who's one of our patrons, who picked this movie, Aladdin and the King of Thieves. I had a great time reviewing it. So did Chelsea.
You made my day, Nick.
I'm very sad Mason couldn't be here, but Mason will be back at some point, hopefully. And our next movie. So before I go into that, I need to clear up a little bit of confusion that's been happening. I think in our last episode, we kind of explained different changes we were making to the show. Some people thought that we were not ever going to review new movies ever again. And no, that is not the case. We were going to review some new movies. For example, the Lego Batman movie came out, and I actually would really like to review that. However, Chelsea and I saw it quite a while ago at a press screening, and it's just kind of out of our memory.
It's foggy right now.
It's a bit foggy. We'd have to see it again, which is fine. But for me, it's a little harder to get out and see movies. I only recently had seen Moana about 3 weeks ago, so the movie had been out 3 months, and I finally saw it. So we're going to skip it. However, going on forward, we're going to pick and choose which movies we're going to review on the podcast. We will still have reviews on the website of the new movies, so you can read our written reviews there and occasionally our YouTube reviews. But we're just going to be a little bit more selective of the ones we do on the podcast, because to me, what makes the podcast great was just a lot of times when we have history with a movie, I feel that our reviews are much better. Yeah. Or just, for me, I have a lot more to pull from. Like this, I have 21 years
Did
of
I really
history
even have to rewatch this? No.
Exactly.
But did I enjoy every minute? Yes.
Exactly. So that is that. As far as patrons, we still are kind of going to talk behind the scenes what we want to do to reconfigure the patrons levels and whatnot. So those are on hold right now. So if you're a current patron, we put those pledges on hold. And once we figure it out, we'll put them back on. So thank you, everybody, for joining us for this episode. Our next episode is going to be Happily Ever After.
Which Filmation.
Oh, yeah. Chelsea has seen this movie. I have not. This is a patron pick by Vanessa. So get ready, guys. Watch that one.
So this is like Filmation's version of Snow White Part 2. What happens next? Also, I did want to mention, as far as what I have going on, recently I have been putting a lot more stuff going into my website and also my YouTube. And I'm about to record a live show. I work as a singer, and so I do a show every weekend. about 3 times a week, and I'm going to record that because none of those songs are on YouTube or available anywhere that are me singing. So I'm going to do a full presentation of that. So I'm going to do a live show, and I've even brought on a videographer who's going to come in. We've been working on doing a full special. Hi, Graham. So it's a full YouTube special, 40 minutes of Chelsea. So look out for that.
Ooh, very nice.
We did some interviews yesterday, and also we've done B-roll of drone shots as well as other background things. So it's going to be a lot of preparation for me, but I'm really excited about that. Also, I am running a promotion on my own personal Patreon account that ends on March 31st. Check it out if you want to find out. Hi, yeah. Graham has just woken up, and so he's joined us on the couch. Hi, buddy. So those are definitely things that I would love to be able to share with you guys as well. So check it out. Go to chelsearobson.com/Patreon for that, as well as any other links to the Rotoscopers ourselves.
Yes, we are at Rotoscopers on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Rotoscopers.com is where you can find all the news, reviews, and interviews of the animation world. You can find me. I'm at Morgan Stradling on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. I like Snapchat a lot, so add me there. It's fun. And yes, Mason is Mason SMTX on Instagram. You can also check out his portfolio. And yeah, until next time,
we are the Rotoscopers. We have taken a break because Graham, the baby, is awake. Hey, Jimmy. So Jimmy is a very small little Yorkie poo, and he has this thing where he has to be in your lap, which I don't really mind because my dog, Montana, is a 55-pound pointer who has a very much desire to be in your lap and in your face. So I'm kind of used to it. It's just funny because this dog's so much smaller than mine. Hi, Jimmy. What's up? There's a party here in Agrabah, and the loot is pouring in. And here I am, just quote. This is the thing. I love this movie so much. I'm just sitting here while Morgan's away, quoting it by myself. I'm totally okay with it. Right, Jimmy?
The sands of time, I guess. But, this is the first time. Why does he need a turban to go on this adventure? This is the first time we've seen him really wear this garb. I guess not true. He wore the turban when he was Prince Ali.
Yeah, he did. But did he ever wear
cut this whole thing out?
Yeah, but also, did he wear it in the show?
What do you mean?
Did he ever wear a turban in the show?
Yeah, when he's Prince Ali. Remember, he has the big turban with the feather.
Right.
But anyway, so just ignore this whole thing.
Just cut that whole thing. It's a good thing we're post.
Put it post.